Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring Land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer.
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation.
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. Hello, Boring Review Nation. Gabe.
Nick.
Sweet. And we are here today for another Throwback
Thursday. I almost said Cricket Tuesday.
I just thought it was a lag. No, you just had a brain freeze then, huh?
Oh, man. It happens all the time.
Come on, you're wearing the shirt. You're wearing the shirt. Since you're wearing the shirt, woo, there it is. We are going to go for another classic, Jurassic Park. First of all, Jurassic Park, and this was Nick's suggestion this week. We go back and forth, kicking around ideas what we want to do for Throwback Thursdays, and I didn't realize it was getting so much popularity. And I know it's on TV all the time, but just on doing some research on the film, bro, I didn't realize how groundbreaking this film was. And it was the first movie that, if you combine theatrical release and video release, it was your first billion-dollar movie. It made $900 million plus in the movie theaters, and another $250 million on DVD sales and what do you call it?
On research? What? Who are you and what have you done with games? I love it.
Well, oh man, you know what I mean? Like I was like, wait a minute. If Nick wants to do this one, I better do my homework. I better do my homework. But
sit back and relax on this one. I love it.
It's another Steven Spielberg movie, and this held the biggest record for the longest time until Titanic came and took that record for the highest grossing film of all time. And then after that, of course, it was Avatar. But man, I rewatched this film and I forgot how much I love this film. And honestly, Nick, I know that we're talking about this movie's now, this was 93. So we're talking about over 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? 27 years? And it still holds up, man. Even not just the CGI, but the animatronics, you know what I mean? Like, it holds up. I had a lot of fun with this film. You do the quick synopsis is way better than I can. I know that there's most people have that tune into these have already seen this, but just in case they've never seen Jurassic Park, go ahead, Nick, and give them a quick synopsis.
No problem. So he said this is a classic, which it is, but it's also a modern day hit because this is now number one in the U.S. as far as box office goes, with a cool $500,000 last weekend. This movie brought in. They put it back into some theaters, and the people have responded. So Jurassic Park is based on a novel by Michael Crichton. And the logo here is actually not from the Jurassic era. I think it's from the Cretaceous period of dinosaurs, but he said in an interview that he just thought the logo was so cool that once he realized it wasn't the Jurassic era, he's like, I don't care. It's still pretty cool. This movie was signed before he even finished writing the book. That's how much respect Michael Crichton has in the movie industry. So Steven Spielberg, he snatched it up. Kathleen Kennedy, yes, that Kathleen Kennedy, she was one of the big producers with Steven Spielberg. This film is about a billionaire, a really rich guy, John Hammond, who has the dream of bringing dinosaurs back to life. And through technology, obviously, but also through the blood of dinosaurs found in mosquitoes that were caught in amber, that were fossilized under the ground, that were found to still have the original blood from the dinosaurs' DNA in their, the thing that holds the blood, they were able to recreate dinosaurs. And obviously this is not real. But even as a kid, I was like, yep, that makes sense to me. Let's keep going forward. Like, I bought the idea of how they can bring back dinosaurs. And then, so it's a park that wants to open, a theme park, amusement park, where John Hammond on this island, John Hammond wants to fly people in and have them experience Jurassic Park, have them experience these recreated dinosaurs from dino DNA, so the real thing. And you go in a little Jeep and you cruise around in the park and you see different things, basically a glorified zoo, but with dinosaurs. And as they are wanting to launch this park, he needs to get the lawyers to sign on. He's the insurance company to sign on. So he wants the experts in the field of paleontology and in the field of chaos theory and whatnot to come in to experience the park and hopefully leave their endorsement so that he can get all the banks behind him and sign on to be able to open it up. And as they do so, all heck breaks loose. One of their inner workers looks at an opportunity to make himself some money, so he steals some of the embryos and he's going to sneak it out onto this dock and give it to the competitors out there. And as he does so, he turns off the power. It ruins chain reaction. Dinosaurs get loose, and now it's a horror movie. And this film is about these main characters. You have Dr. Grant, who is played by Sam Neill. You have Dr. Sadler, who's played by Laura Dern. You have the two kids, Lexi and Tim. And then you have the great, the glorious. You have Dr.
Ian
Malcolm, played by
Jeff Goldblum.
Goldblum. This was, and now Jeff Goldblum was in The Fly. He was in other films, but this was the introduction to the world of the Goldblum. This guy was so cool in this movie. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to be just like that guy. That guy can get any woman he wants. I mean, this guy is awesome. The way he talks. I mean, I'm not going to do an impression because I can't do it justice. This was the start of the Goldblum. You have these great characters, and they're just trying to survive with these dinosaurs, including T-Rexes and raptors on the loose. And this film, I was thinking about it today when, prepping for this review. I was thinking, what makes Jurassic Park so good? Because it has 4 sequels, for crying out loud, one of which is really good. The other 3 are just okay. What makes this movie so good? Is it just nostalgia? And I don't think it is. This movie has the wonderful combination of strong visual effects. When I saw that dinosaur, that brontosaurus walking across, and you hear the music of Jurassic Park when he has to turn her head and look at the dinosaur. When I saw that, I was like, they created real dinosaurs. That's a real dinosaur. Because I'm used to the animatronics at Disneyland or something, like these robots or whatever. Like, that's a real dinosaur. It just looks so real. So it had the strong visual effects. It had great acting. You don't have to have a great acting in this film, but it had great acting. It had the humor. This movie has amazing humor at the right spot. I mean, this is like the original MCU type humor where it makes these situations, a word that you use a lot, gives it some levity. It allows us to enjoy this scary type film because most kids like myself, we watched this in the theaters. We should have been more freaked out. I really wasn't because I was just having so much fun. It's an entertaining film and it's a suspenseful film. I mean, it has all these things rolled up to one with a great score by John Williams. It has everything that you could want in a movie, and it's just awesome from start to finish. And when it's over, you're just like, don't end now. And so that's why we wanted all the sequels, and the sequels have never been able to measure up to this original one.
No, not at all. Not at all. And, here's the thing. I think that, first of all, you had, like you said, great actors in there. Even some of the minor characters. Okay, let's talk about some of the other performances. Samuel L. Jackson. He has a small role.
Him.
Okay, but he's the computer guy. He's the chief engineer of the entire park.
What's his catchphrase?
Hold
on to your butts.
There you go.
I love it.
Then we have
kids. We're like, he said, but sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, as a kid, right? No, that's funny. Then the main bad guy, which is so funny because he's not your prototypical bad guy. And I was thinking about this today, and I'll get into it in a minute. But I always forget his real name, by the way. But it's Newman from Seinfeld. Okay, the fat guy from Seinfeld, Newman, and his real name is Wayne Knight. Okay, he's the main bad guy. But realistically, is he a bad guy? And wait, before you jump down my throat, he's a person, and he saw an opportunity to make money, to get rich. He's not your, I want to take over the world. No, he's got real world motivations. Look, I probably get paid crap working at this park or whatnot, for my skills. These guys are billionaires. You know, the lawyer comes in talking about how much money we could charge people $2,000 a day, how much money they're going to make. Obviously, these employers aren't making that kind of money. So he's already got a cool $500,000 for basically doing nothing. And now the people who are trying to get the research say, you deliver the other, the embryos to us, and because they're just trying to steal the research so they can beat Engine to it, basically. We'll give you another $1 million. So $1.5 million, anybody would be tempted. Let's just be candid right there. But yes, he is the main bad guy. But thinking about today, and I went back and I was listening to Jeff Goldblum talk about chaos theory, right? Isn't that we are chaos theory? Okay, if you just leave the dinosaurs alone, had that never happened, the park would have ran smoothly. It would have opened. That none of that stuff would have happened. Okay, but inevitably it happened. Why? Because human nature came in, and that was the unpredictable. It wasn't the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs weren't unpredictable. Dinosaurs did what they did. As long as they were in their natural habitat and they were in their enclosures and all the security measures were up, everything was fine. But you know, this guy intentionally to lower the security so that he could steal this to make money. Why? Because he's a human and greed came. So he's was the main, aspect of chaos theory.
But he got a lot of people called or killed because of his greed. The thing is, the troubling thing with him is he's so, in my opinion, he's so likable. He's a funny character. He's only in it for a few minutes. But I always quote the beginning scene when he's talking to the other guy from Engine or whatever, and he calls him like Dobson or something. He's like, "Don't use my real name." He's like, Dobson, we got Dobson here.
We got Dobson here. Nobody cares.
I use that line that nobody cares so many times because it's so true. Like, calm down. You're not as cool as you think you are. He's got like a secret agent hat or whatever on. And then, I mean, he's trying to get out of there. He's so nervous. Like, oh, I was going to go check on this. No. Like, and then, that's not the magic word. I mean, this guy is just, to me, he's so funny. But he messes things up. But you bring up a good point. If you take him out of it, would the park still run? My argument would be no, because you have these dinosaurs. They are dangerous. They're not trying to be killers. That's just their natural. They are meat eaters, right? They're going to go after easy pickings. And so if you have a kid as one of the guests, or you have a worker that falls asleep at the job, or you have someone that doesn't do their job right, and it just takes one time for that power to go off or for those defenses to be down, you cannot trust dinosaurs. You can't cage them in when they're not naturally able to be caged in and assume that they're going to keep things safe. Now, at the same time, you can say, well, zoos have lions and they have alligators and they have all these other dangerous animals. They're able to protect or keep those safe. And that's a good argument. But this was when it comes back to Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill's conversation, where I think it's Jeff Goldblum, Malcolm, where he says, God create dinosaurs, God destroy dinosaurs. God create man, man destroy God, man to create dinosaurs. It's not supposed to be that way. The natural order is not supposed to have man and humans on the earth at the same time, because this is what happens.
You mean man and dinosaur at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's awesome. But you're right.
I see your point.
Villain, but if you think of
every single Jurassic Park movie, all right, the dinosaurs, if left to their own devices, would not cause issues. It's man that causes the issue, okay? Even the newer iterations. So we are the chaos theory, okay? We was thrown into the equation because of our greed, because of our aptitude to try and always push the edge, to keep pushing further and further. And even in the newer movies, really, if you think about it, again, it's not the dinosaurs, it's us, okay? Dinosaurs are going to be what they're going to be. They're going to be hunters, they're going to be killers, they're going to be predators. It is what it is, okay? Some of them are gentle dinosaurs, right? They're plant eaters or whatnot, but it's still us that, and when I say us, I mean mankind, that causes the chaos. With that being said, though, I think that the best part about this movie is not just the visuals. Again, before this time, this movie was groundbreaking, guys. You got to understand, this was the first movie that really utilized CGI to its full effect. Before then, it was always stop motion and animatronic puppets and stuff like that. Try to go find an old dinosaur movie before Jurassic Park, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I think the only two movies before this that used CGI heavily was Terminator 2, right, with the T-1000, and something else came out before this that used CGI. Oh, The Abyss, remember, with the water or whatnot? But other than that, you really didn't have CGI. This was groundbreaking. This changed the way movies were filmed as far as like action scenes. All the scenes we love today, all the movies that are heavily CGI influenced have Jurassic Park to thank. And they won the Oscar, right, for visual effects and for sound, as a matter of fact. I think this won like 2 or 3 Oscars, if I'm not mistaken. But, with that being said, man, it was just such a fun movie. Of course, the kids were not great actors. I'm watching that today, and I'm like, but they're kid actors. That's usually
you don't like the guy that played Tim? I thought he did a good job.
I didn't really like the Tim
I
actor.
thought he had good timing. I mean, he plays kind of a nerdy character, but he's got good time when he's picking on his sister. And one of my favorite jokes in the entire movie is when he's on that electric fence, and they're saying, just count down from 3 and jump. You can do it. And he goes 1, 2, and then he gets shocked because it turns back on, and he comes to, and he's like 3. Like it. I love that joke. It's just hilarious.
Right.
Like he wants to finish the counting because he blacks out or whatever. I thought he did a pretty good job. Lex, she is what she is. She's a hacker though, so it's kind of outdated with
that's what I was gonna get to. Okay. Yeah. How many? What was she? 9, 11? Now watch some 9 or 11-year-olds say, really old man? I'll teach you, and they're gonna go ahead and hack me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get like spammed all kinds of stuff. But most 9 or 11-year-olds, however old she was, can't hack. Though you telling me that Samuel L. Jackson, all these other guys were trying to break Newman, and I keep wanting to say Newman, and what was his name in the in Jurassic Park? Nedry, okay, but the main they're all trying to break his and you didn't say the magic word. They can't break his encryption, and this 9-year-old, 11-year-old girl does it. Come on, really? So I don't know. It is something.
Well, remember, she says when she looks at it, she's like, I know this. This is a Nexus system. So come on, man. But at least they incorporate the kids. The cool thing is if you really, really stretch deep, okay? Because I agree with you. The kids aren't the strongest part. But if you really stretch deep, they are very beneficial. One, it adds to the terror when the T-Rex is attacking their Jeep. And, freaking out like, he left us. He left us. And then Malcolm's like, well, when you got to go, you got to go. Which I love that joke, too. But they also have a nice little progression in this short amount of time where they're the terrified kids from that T-Rex attack, and then they're willing to outsmart the Raptors near the end. And let's just talk about that for a second. That Raptor scene in that kitchen, right? Using the mirrors, using this or that, trying to get out. That was such a groundbreaking scene because I cannot think of it right now. But there are so many movies that have nothing to do with dinosaurs that have stolen that scene, have stolen that idea, whether it's a killer on the loose or whatever, some bad guy, and them tricking him out with the mirror cabinets or whatever. I remember watching that, thinking to myself, literally, when I watched it the first time, 10 years old, thinking, this is such an awesome, scary sequence, and it's building up the suspense. And then when they outsmart the Raptor, I mean, he looks so scared when he's she looks so scared trying to close that down. And then when he hits the thing, she just gets out real quick. That was pretty decent acting. They add an element to it, and not just that, but they add to Sam Neill's character, Dr. Grant's character, of development as well, where he wanted nothing to do with kids, but
at the beginning, right.
Being fatherly and having those natural instincts.
No, I agree, and I mean, again, I see how they fit into the story. It was just a little bit of the acting that bothered me. And then again, the Mary Sue moment at the end where all of a sudden she's the one that figures out how to get all the systems back online in Jurassic Park when you got all these qualified people, all these, that couldn't do it. I'm like, come on, really? With that being said, though, man, I love this film. One of the things that I noticed again, and that's why when you watch something older and you watch it through a new lens or whatnot, you're like, oh man, I missed that the first time, or I didn't quite catch that the first time. And there's a scene when the other doctor, not Dr. Grant, but the female doctor,
Sadler?
What's her name? Yeah, Dr. Sadler goes down. And remember, she goes into the basement to get the
to find out what Samuel L. Jackson's doing.
Yeah. So there's this jump scare there or whatever. She gets everything behind the power. That's actually when the kid gets shocked or whatnot because she gets the power back on. It's Samuel L. Jackson's arm. Remember the arm? I was like, oh, what just happened? I never, bro. And I've seen this probably 10, 15 times. I just figured that out today. Like, oh, that's what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Are you kidding me?
Oh man, I was like, what?
Awesome.
Oh man. But you know what, dude, guys, this is a great movie. Nick owns the film. It's funny because I was like, hey, bro, you can catch it. I got Sling. It's on TBS and on what do you call it? What did I tell you? A Sci-Fi. He's like, bro, I own it. Like, you know, Nick's library. We made a joke at the beginning. His video library is so extensive that during the coronavirus lockdown, he could be his own Redbox. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of films.
Movies are my life.
But I mean, we're all giddy about this. I don't know. Anything else you want to mention about Jurassic Park?
You know, there's just a few small. I mean, there's so much nostalgia with this film. Being a kid when it first came out, and like everyone else that watched it, I mean, I knew it looked cool. I knew what it was going to be about for the most part, but I had no idea what I was in store for. There's so many iconic scenes. The T-Rex attack on the Jeep. When I was watching it the first time, I was just loving every minute of it. Like I said, the kitchen scene, loving every minute of it. And then you have the end, which has been copied by the other sequels many times, where they're in trouble with the Raptors, and then T-Rex comes and helps them out inadvertently. There's so many cool scenes. The music. So very, very small little rant of my own. The music by John Williams is fantastic. Phenomenal. Everyone knows the tune. But I started watching this old show called Highway to Heaven on Netflix a few years ago. The theme song, it's not a carbon copy, but you can see the early theme. And that show came out way before Jurassic Park. Early themes of this soundtrack. So if you're really bored and you want to listen to the Highway to Heaven, listen to it. Wait till about 40 seconds in, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyways, there's so much about this movie besides that, which is so awesome. I'm glad you said Samuel L. Jackson because, I mean, he was one of my favorites as a kid, even though he was in it for just a few minutes as well. There's so many moments. Dr. Grant, I thought he was the coolest guy. Harrison Ford was actually slated to play Dr. Grant. Harrison Ford said he read the script and he said, I don't see myself as this character, so I'm just not going to do it. And after he watched the movie, he stuck to that opinion. He said, yep, I don't think I would have done it. I thought Sam Neill did a much better job. So I think that's kind of cool. I mean, this guy gets offered everything. But it would be interesting to see Harrison Ford in that role. But Sam Neill, you know, hit it out of the park. Absolutely love it. It's better than any other sequels, even though Jurassic World's pretty good. I'm going to give this easily an A+. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, you know, despite the few flaws that I mentioned, I love this film too. I think it was groundbreaking, and for that reason, I'm giving it an A+ as well. I think that movies today still don't stand up from. And you asked the question, what was it that's so great about this movie? Well, it hit every single facet. Some movies today are visually stunning, but then the storyline absolutely sucks, and you're like, "What are you? Seriously? This is trash." You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or some movies have an unbelievable storyline, but then the production is trash. You know what I mean? And you're like, "Are you serious? You guys couldn't get some more backing or whatever?" The score, like you said, the score does such a great job of giving you that feeling of nostalgia, even when you listen to it today. You know what I mean? The score is amazing. The acting, they didn't again, not that Samuel L. Jackson was a big actor at the time. This is probably one of his first big roles, but they got great actors in order to be in this film. They hit every single nail on the head, which is why this movie's great. Me and you have had this discussion before. I know Avatar was the highest grossing film of all time. You know, after, of course, Avengers Endgame, which recently beat it. I'm like, you know what? I don't get it. I thought it was okay. You know, it was visually great, but I just didn't. To me, Avatar didn't do for me what Jurassic Park did for me. Does that make sense? Jurassic Park is something I still watch today with my kids. Oh, this is amazing. I love this, even though the sequels aren't great, I'll watch the sequels. I'm not even, I know Avatar's got a sequel coming out, but I'm like, okay, whatever. It just didn't hit every single, maybe, first of all, Avatar, I'll tell you right now, Avatar soundtrack, not the same, doesn't have the same score, okay? You can hum the what do you call it, the Jurassic Park, and 9 out of 10 people can tell you that's Jurassic Park. Go ahead and try that with Avatar. I can't even tell you what Avatar's score is off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Two, what was your standout performances in Avatar? What was
Sam
really
Worthington.
Sam Worthington?
And Zoe Saldana. I thought, honestly, when I tried watching the movie, I was like, I know she's doing the stop motion thing, but she deserves an Oscar nomination. I thought she was fantastic.
And I love Zoe Saldana. She's a beautiful woman. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was over the top, like, wow, this is an unbelievable performance. It wasn't a Jeff Goldblum performance, all right? Even though, you know what's funny? Jeff Goldblum wasn't even the main character in this movie. He was the scene stealer. Every single person who ever seen Jurassic Park, and it's so funny because then later on, was it Jurassic Park Part 3 where he gets his own movie? Jeff Goldblum,
No, he
he's
was
the
in
main guy.
One. He was in the last
second one, right? Because they loved him so much. He got the second one. He got the sequel because he was the scene stealer. But to me, it hit the entire, you know what I'm saying? It hit the gambit. It hit every single aspect
Why
of what
you gotta
it
beat
makes
up
a
on
memorable
Avatar? You're just mad because when they re-release Avatar in the theaters, it's gonna take the throne back from Endgame. They're gonna do this back and forth thing. What does Avatar do with Jurassic Park? I mean, that's a great film.
What I'm saying is, it's just not one of those films where I can say that it's going to stand the test of time as one of, you know, I think you might have mentioned Jurassic Park on your top 10 films of all time. Maybe it was an honorable mention or whatnot. I know it's on some other people's lists. Rocky, those kind of movies that stand the test of time. You really think Avatar's going to do that, even though it made all this money? No,
I'm not saying Avatar
T2 was on my list,
but I think Avatar is a great film, and I do think it's going to last the test of time because the technology still holds up completely in that film. Absolutely. But we're kind of running a little long, like Jeff Goldblum said in the movie, must go faster. So we're going to go faster here. We're going to end this. We hope you enjoy our review, our discussion. Let us know some of your thoughts. Let us know some of the nostalgic things that you remember about Jurassic Park the first time you watched it. And if you haven't seen it, hopefully we've convinced one or two of you to go check it out. Like Gabe said, it's available everywhere for the most part. But until next time,
we know all things.